Okay, so I haven't done an in-depth tutorial in a while and I thought it was about time. So we're starting with skin prep, and my most important tip is to be completely moisturized. I kind of like to be as juicy as possible. So everything that I'm using is very, very hydrating, very, very moisturizing. I'm not using anything mattifying. And I'm saying this as an oily girl, even though my under eyes get pretty dry. This barrier repair cream is incredible. It's probably the only thing that I would consider slightly mattifying. Once you've moisturized and you apply it on top of your moisturizer and you rub it in, it creates this good layer between your moisturizer and the next thing that you put on your face. It really works to lock in that moisture and keep it locked in and fill in any like crevices. I only ever use a serum based SPF whenever I am doing a full face of makeup. Any other time I'll just use normal SPF. Hydrating Fenty primer, and then the Natasha Denona Hygiene Skin Glass Serum. I've talked about it before. It's incredible, it's fantastic, gives me a gorgeous glow. Give your skincare a minute to sink into your skin. And then foundation. By the way, this is the makeup that I do for events or a photo shoot, or if I'm going for a night out. I really take my time in little stippling dabbling motions to put it all over my face. And then with my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray that's almost finished, I will set it, let it dry a little bit, and then do the whole process again. And then we go in with our second layer, and then it's time for concealer. I like to use these Fenty hydrating concealers. Once again, as somebody with drier under eyes, anything hydrating is fantastic. This is in the shade 480, and I kind of put it under my eyes, on my forehead, on my chin. This Home Beauty brush is the best brush for blending out concealers. I use a similar kind of dabbing stippling motion like I did with my foundation, and I've done this close up so you can see how seamless that blend is. Next, we're going in with a shade or two lighter. I think this is in the shade 450 or 430. We're going to let that sit whilst we apply our contour, which is the Dior contour stick. It's in the darker shade. It's fantastic. I'm obsessed. The foundation stick of this is also really great, but today I use the Giorgio Armani foundation. Now to blend it out, I use this Say brush. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be for, but I like to use it to blend out my contour. I do the same stippling motion on my jawline. I'm not really that fussed, so sometimes I'll dab it and rub it a little bit. I put some of that contour on the outside corners of my eyes so that it adds to depth when we're doing our eyeshadow later. And I just use the excess that's on the brush on the bridge of my nose so that I don't end up putting too much product. And for this section, I like to blend out my concealer with a beauty blender. I love a slightly dirty beauty blender, and so I used the excess just to kind of carve into my cheekbones a bit. Set it again with my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, dry a little bit, and then we go into prepping for eyeshadow. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer. Blended it out with the same Home Beauty brush, and this Naughty palette from Huda Beauty I've had for years. But before I do that, I need to set my concealer with the same powder that I will use for my under eyes. This will give us a good smooth canvas to start working on. So we did Juicy all over the lid, and then I went in with these two browns to kind of add back that dimension into my eye shape. And then going in with Filthy, I know that some people can be a bit scared of lighter eyeshadow colors, but this placement of eyeshadow really helps give that ethereal look to your eyes. When I do the outer corners, I just dab the color on and then either do circular motions or kind of like dragging out motions. If you see me in sparkles, it's almost always Moon Dust in the shade Space Cowboy by Urban Decay. I don't put it all over the lid. I go from the inner corner kind of up in the same spot that I did the lighter eyeshadow. Once again, it kind of gives you this beautiful ethereal look. I'll do a brown wing just on the ends. My wing kind of started drying out, so I used the same stick contour with an angled brush and just kind of drew it out, smudged it up a little bit, and then it kind of makes a softer wing as opposed to a sharper wing. My eyeshadow looks are almost always only 3 colors, simple but quite effective. When it comes to setting, I really like this dense brush from Sigma to set all of my powder. Me and this Morphe 5D palette are bonded for life, so I'll go back in with a warmer brown to warm up that contour. I have neutral undertones, but I lean more towards warm when I'm doing my makeup, and then I'll once again pop a bit more powder on all the places I put concealer, this time with a kind of sponge. I didn't end up going for this blush because I felt like it didn't sit well with my eyeshadow, so I went for this Pat McGrath blush. Once again, I understand the fear of lighter colors on dark skin, but it's all about the placement and how well you work it in with your other products. So I use this Java blush, which is also quite warm. This is from Benefit Cosmetics. I know some people put blush on their foreheads, but I like to put it on my chin. And then I went in with this mascara from Rimmel London and tested it out against my favorite Bad Gal Bang from Benefit Cosmetics. The Rimmel I feel like gives me volume, but the Bang one also gives me length and separates my eyelashes very well. I usually set my makeup before I put mascara on because I put a lot of setting spray on, so don't do what I just did. Whilst that setting spray is doing its thing and making sure everything sinks in nicely, I do my lip combo and then go back in again with the same densely packed brush but with Fenty Invisimatte. This is why very hydrating skin prep is so important, because with all of that powder we could easily get cakey, but because our skin is very hydrated underneath and we set it very well, it doesn't get cakey. But skin is skin, and skin will still look like skin no matter how much makeup you put on it. So this is a close-up of my face. You can definitely see the texture, you can see my nose hairs, you can see everything. And that is so normal, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. But this is what it looks like in the sun, and look at how, oh, it just looks so good. This is why you gotta take your time in blending everything out. The sparkles look fantastic. I wanted to show you what it looked like kind of at night with the flash on, but I felt like I was missing more sparkles, so I took my blush brush and put it kind of where I would put my highlighter on, and look at that sparkle. If you take anything away from this video, it's to go and buy Moondust, because look at that. And I guarantee, no matter what you do with your makeup, this on top will just take it to another level. And that's it. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know.